Hi,
Hello.
everybody.
Hiya.
Hi. Welcome to day 3. I had to think for a second. I was like, what
It
day
is
are we
day
on?
3.
Day 3
Wow.
of Thrive in 5, your healing treasure hunt experience. We thought we'd do something a little different. We wanted to go live a little early because there's a song that we want to play, and we're not going to play the whole thing, but we're going to play maybe 2 minutes of it while we wait for everybody to arrive and get here and settle in and get grounded. And then we're going to introduce ourselves and jump into the day. So
Yeah, man.
go ahead, DJ.
DJ.
And we'll just turn it up so make sure you guys can hear it. And we're just going to sit and we're just going to tune in to the energy. Say hi when you arrive. And let us know what you think of this song. Fun is the currency of Thank you for being here. Thanks for tuning in. Let the heart stay light in the dance of you. Find your delight. Find your delight. Welcome everybody to day 3. We're gonna get started in about 1 minute. Say hi when you arrive. Dreams seem far. Remember who you truly are. In every laugh, in every leap, find the child within, let it speak. Fun is the currency of the young, a song of life forever sung. Keep the spirit, let the heart stay right. In the dance of you, find your delight. Let us know how you're feeling. Say hi when you arrive. We're going to get started in about 15 seconds. So live with joy. Live with joy. Embrace the fun. For in our hearts we're always young. With every laugh, every song we sing, we keep the magic of youth within. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. Day 3, we're kicking it off. Hi, Beverly. Hi, Lynn. Nice to see you. Let's say hi on Facebook. Hi, Zoe. Hi, Natalie. Hi, Michael. Hi, Teresa. Thank you for being here. If I haven't said hi yet, it's because your name hasn't popped up. Please say hi when you arrive so that we get to see you. And I know Alexandra's going to be watching the comments just in case we can't see them again today. There were a lot of amazing comments yesterday. So thank you, everybody who was showing up and commenting and playing and being in the vibes with us. We so appreciate you. We appreciate everyone who posted as well. I know that you guys have been busy on your treasure hunt. We ixnayed the scavenger. We went to treasure because you are a treasure. Your life is a treasure. And even today, I don't know if you saw the reel that I posted, but I found some serious treasures on our path this morning. My friend Amelie and I went for a walk.
What a treasure.
And it was so amazing. It was like right at the beginning of our walk. And I looked down, I was like, oh my God. There's like money everywhere, but it's like little play money, but it's pesos, right? And there's 1,000 pesos, 500 pesos, 200, like all the different. And I'm looking down, I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Like what a beautiful blessing. And then I was like, I have to pick some of this up because if I don't, like the kids are going to be pretty upset that I tell them and I didn't bring it back, right? And so then when I came back home, you guys went back out and they collected all of it.
Them up for the kids to have fun with. It's so fun.
It's so fun. It's such a beautiful
blessing.
They're
exact replicas of the money. It's like crazy. Just so smaller,
real. Yeah,
right?
just
fun
smaller.
money.
Yeah,
I
so
love it.
Keep posting as you're finding things, as you're discovering yourself, as you're discovering your items. Post them in the group. If you're tuning in from YouTube and you don't have Facebook, you can always send us an email. We'd be happy to see it on email. And we want to thank you all for being here and showing up as powerfully as you are. Thank you so much. There's also still time to share. If you want to share any of this experience, you can share the links. You can share the invitation to anybody in your world. And when you do, make sure that you tag us or let us know that you shared it so that we can include you in a draw, because at the end of the week, we're going to do a really beautiful draw for all those who have been sharing. And every time you share, your name goes in, and we're going to do some really special things for you guys. That song, you want to tell us a little bit about that song?
Yeah, that song is by an anonymous artist, right? And it's written for our workshops and our material in particular, right? So you'll hear a lot of that sort of stuff coming out in the future. And you'll be able to find that list, the Thrive list of all the songs on Spotify and on other places. So when you fall in love with the songs that we have here, which people tend to do, because we've had people over the years ask us many times,
for
like,
our playlist.
can we have your playlist? Yes, you can have our playlist, and you'll be able to get it on Spotify or on any of those streaming services.
I just have to ask them a question.
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
you can tell them.
So Gabriel wrote the lyrics
I wrote the
and the
lyrics,
melody for that song.
Yeah.
And many of you know that Gabriel writes music. And
Yeah.
so he said, I have something that I want to run by you this morning. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, sure. And I listened to it. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And then he said, yeah, I wrote that.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I was like, this is so beautiful. If you're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
tuning in, Gabriel,
yeah,
we played this
yeah.
song at the beginning of the video. Once the video ends, you can go back and catch the song. But it was really
Snippets of it,
beautiful.
yeah.
And it was
Yeah,
so
yeah.
aligned with the energy of today and the
Exactly.
energy that we've been holding space for, of this healing. Exnay the scavenger put in the treasure hunt, this treasure hunt, so that healing can be easy. And that's really what we want to dive into today, is that the journey doesn't have to be hard. It's just, we have to remember who and what we are. And we remember our innocence and our childlike nature. All of a sudden, the journey, the path that we're walking, it gets lighter, it gets brighter, it gets easier. We remember the truth of who and what we are and our innocence.
Indeed. That's exactly what the song is about as well. Fun is the currency of the young. That's the name of the song. As in, when you're young, you're just living in the moment, enjoying life. You're not thinking about bills and future and any of that stuff. You're just living there, right? And that's what the song is really about. So if you want that song, by the way, just type song in the comments later on, and we'll make sure that we get the link for that as soon as it becomes available on more streaming services, etc. Right? And you'll have it. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do a quick introduction, because there's always new people who are tuning into our work and our world. And so my name is Tara Antler.
And I'm King Gabriel.
And we are the co-founders of Ascension Academy of Light, which is a global center that specializes in meditation, spiritual growth and development, intuition expansion, manifestation mastery, healing, and relationship harmony.
And creating beautiful outcomes.
Yes, we do. We love to create beautiful outcomes.
Yes.
And so we've worked with more than 10,000 clients one-to-one each. I think it's up around the 14,000 mark now.
Yes.
We've spoken on stages as small as hundreds, as large as 26 million in India.
26 million,
We've shared stages with incredible speakers and teachers. Gabriel has shared the stage with Shaka Khan, Stevie Wonder, Michael Beckwith,
Steve Harvey.
Steve
a few
Harvey.
other people, And he's not a musician. But,
Gabriel
he's
actually
in a-
trained.
yeah.
Do any of you know Joe Rogan? Gabriel actually worked with Joe Rogan because he was a UFC fighter. And so back in the day, Gabriel actually trained Joe when he was coming up in the UFC world. And so on my side of things, I've worked with Louise Hay, was one of my clients. I was in a film with Jack Canfield and John Gray, the author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And Jack Canfield is the author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. And so our journey has been very bright and extensive and wonderful in terms of our healing journey. And I feel like Creator put us on the path very early to be of service in this way. So it's such a joy to be able to be here with you, to be of service, to help shine a little light with our big flashlights on your life and really create some alleviation from some of the things that you might be moving through, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, relationship, life, financial. There's so many moving parts in our life, and we get it. We ourselves have moved through many challenges in our life and watched thousands, tens of thousands of clients move through really big challenges as well. So we are grateful to be here as we hold this collective space and intention for you. And our intention today is that you feel so well supported after yesterday's session. And if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure you go back and watch yesterday's session, because we really created a space where you get to feel held. And when you feel held, you feel safe. And when you feel safe, you can go deeper. You can go deeper in your stuff. You can go deeper into the shadow. And that's kind of what we're going to walk into today. Not big, but just a little bit. We're just going to dip a toe into the shadow of ourselves to see what's holding us back. Because if we don't know what's holding us back, there's no way you're going to be able to move yourself forward.
Yeah.
Right?
Awareness/illumination of the shadow. That's what's taking place today. Yes.
So grab your workbook. If you don't yet have a workbook, just type workbook in the comments. Alexander will make sure that you get the link and you get all the things that you need. You'll also get the map, the scavenger/treasure hunt map, and you'll have all of that, and you can play with it as much as you need to. You can sit back and just receive if you want today, or if you want to take notes, it's totally up to you. This is your experience. I trust that you know what you need to do, which is best for you. So today, the topic of conversation is find the hidden gifts and create a shift. So it's one thing to be able to look at what we're looking at. The next piece is to create a shift. So today we actually want to create a shift within you. And we've been doing that the last 2 days, but start to create a shift out of the shadow into the light. Do you remember when we used to have that workshop? It was like out of the shadows
Stepping
into the light.
Yeah,
Stepping into the light.
That was it.
That was a really powerful live
that was
workshop that we used to
wonderful.
teach in
We love
Toronto.
that, yeah.
So let's talk about this. So before we actually, do you want to start? Because I have some stuff here that I want to like dive into about the halfway point. But I
Okay.
feel like you might have some stuff about finding those hidden gifts.
Oh yeah, sure. Finding your hidden gifts. Let's dive right into that. If you've ever questioned finding those gifts, this is usually how you stumble on them, right? You're living your everyday life, okay? And this is with artists, with different types of artists, by the way, and different people that are just creative. You're living life, and in interacting with life, there's just certain things that, let's say, friends around you will come around you for. Like for certain people, it's just you're that listening ear, right? They know that when they come to you, you're probably not gonna fill them with information, but you're just gonna listen. And in your listening, all their problems are resolved, all their challenges fall away, and they just feel better, right? So sometimes your gift is that, right? And that's just one way. But it's the thing usually that most of your friends would come to you for naturally, or in life in general, not even friends. Could be family. It could be people that don't even really know you. Because I've had people say that before. They just met you in like 5 minutes and they tell you their entire life story. And then afterwards, they're like, I never really tell anybody all of that. How is it that I'm telling you all of this and I just met you, right? But it's listening, right? So that's one of those things. The main point I'm getting to here, though, is that your gifts are like that. You're doing them all the time, even though you're not necessarily focused on doing them. It's not an effort on your behalf to do them. It's just things that happen naturally. For instance, for musicians, etc., you will do music and you won't realize necessarily how awesome that music is until you listen to it later on and you realize, wait a minute, I was always doing this specific thing here. I always had this gift and I didn't even know I was doing it. So it's almost like it happens unconsciously, whether or not you're aware of it. It's much better when you are aware, though, because then you could take conscious effort and create it in a way that more reflects it and keeps it in your awareness. So you hold that value of yourself, right? So gifts, back to gifts. I know I'm going around a bit here. The gifts themselves are there. They're not hidden. They're actually with you always. But your awareness of the gifts is what always needs to be developed, right? Because you can be doing a thing all the time and not know you're doing it and not value yourself because of it, right? The lack of awareness of it. And so you won't really put yourself out there in the way that you connect to the people that are there to receive that gift from you. Because a gift is not a gift unless it's given, right? If you sit in a house by yourself with your gifts, right, and you just sit there for the whole time, then the people and the energy that you're supposed to share into the world, it just won't reach those people. Or it'll reach those people after a while, after trickling through a whole long stream and coming back to them some other way. But the way that you could give it directly, because you are that light being that shares your light where you go, right? It won't be received immediately. It'll take more time. So to cut time down, you being aware of your gifts, right, and using them deliberately makes it active participation in the plan that is unfolding naturally, right? So that's what I wanted to say about gifts. And that's one way of discovering your gifts, seeing what people are coming to you for. Also, and this is a way that most people would discount some of the times because it feels ego-centered some of the time, but it's really not. What are you actually passionate about? What motivates you? And be honest with yourself about that. Don't think about what society says in terms of this is selfish, etc. If something pulls you and drives you, that's a desire within you, and that desire has been put there by spirit. That's your desire. So when you follow your desire, you find yourself in positions to express your gifts even more. That's what really happens, right? But because of the implementation of the ideas of ego-centeredness and all of that, some people never move towards their gift because they feel as if they would become something else by trying to follow those gifts, right? For instance, if you are meant to be wealthy, but you're the type of person that would share that wealth with everyone because you have a plan for doing that, there are people who would stay away from the wealth because of all the associations with wealth and lack of integrity or lack of sterling character or helpfulness and these sorts of things because they view it in that way. But really, that power of wealth, let's say financial power, right? It can be used to help or to hinder. You can choose how you use that, just like you choose everything else in life. And so if you're a person that really has good and solid and founded intentions within you that are in integrity with your higher self, when you do receive that, you will use it in a positive way. You will use it in a way that builds, that helps. So there's no need to hide from it. You can move into it, but you have to allow yourself to be clear, firstly, on which side you choose to be on, right? You know, and Bob Marley put it in a special way. He said in life, and I'm just using him as a reference here, but he said in life, there are goodies and baddies. Some people are just goodies and baddies, right? And that's basically the fundamental principle behind this. You choose. You choose whether you're a baddie or whether you're a goodie. But it's nothing to do with the energies that you have. You choose to use the energy in that way or in the other way, right? And I'm not trying to preach good and bad here per se, but I'm saying it's always a choice within us, and we have the choice to be able to use that in whichever way. So there's no need to fear the thing itself, right? So if you have a gift, and I know most of you, to be here in the first place, to be in this conversation, you know fully well that you have some sort of gift. You know that deep inside, you're some sort of healer. You're here to shine your light on the world, or you're here to uplift the energetic space, or in some way help the world to reflect the divinity that you know is present within you. You're here on that mission, or you wouldn't be in the conversation, right? So you're in that conversation, and then we talk about imposter syndrome and all of these things. That's just us not living up to the expectation that we have for ourselves, really, right?
And we're afraid.
And we're afraid to do that. But if we're willing to step into that and be aware of what we really are and let that sink in, then the sharing of that is just a matter of sharing what we naturally are. So there is no inconsistency and there is no imposter. Because how could you be an imposter if you're choosing deliberately with all the energy that you have to be this thing, and you have decided that you really are that?
And to
There's
be
no
yourself.
imposter. You're yourself. You can't be an imposter if you're yourself. That's exactly it, right? So it's yourself doing that. And this is the awareness we want to come through the work we do. So back to gifts again. Your gifts are there. They've never disappeared. They cannot actually be destroyed, right? They're there with you, but you can dwindle them down and put them to a limited place where you don't experience them as much as you could. Or you could turn that dial up through paying attention to them, focusing your awareness on them and starting to pump energy and share them. And when you share them, you become aware that you have them. So it magnifies it in your own mind and makes it that much more powerful for you. So if you're ready to step into doing that gift, to step into what you're doing, the first step is actually becoming aware of it and taking the steps to share it, right? That's what we do in most of the work we do, actually. Increase your capacity to see yourself as you really are. And in that way, you can continue to share that and become increasingly aware of it and become the person that is there connecting into this whole as you're meant to brighten up the part of the whole that you occupy, thereby brightening up the whole. Yeah, go ahead.
And this totally relates to the item that we're going to give you today as well. So you're going to love how this is all going to weave together. And I want to share something very quickly, because last night, like speaking of gifts, so we have our Light Leadership community, our container, and it's a mastermind. It's a higher level. It's for people who are already growing a business, a movement, a mission, higher level conversations. It's more intimate. It's a smaller space. And last night I had to say thank you to them, because the questions that they ask, because they're showing up so powerfully in themselves and their gifts, and they're willing to not only say, yes, this is my gift, but here's the shadow that's coming up that's pulling me back. Here's the fear. Here's the insecurity. Here's the doubt. Here's the wavering. They were able to see that and have an awareness of that and then speak into it in a very powerful way. In asking the questions that they did, it opened up a space that was like freaking miraculous last night. We were all like, I was jaw dropped by what came through as an answer, as a clarity, as a wisdom. Like, you know, when you get those like pure truth, capital T moments where you're like, oh my God, this is so good. Like, I have to go back and listen to it again, because it was so potent and powerful in what came through. And I thank them, even though it came through my words and mouth.
Yes.
I thank them for showing up as powerfully as they did, to not only be willing to see the truth of their vision and what they want and their goals and their mission in their life, but also the willingness to see their shadows and to say, here's what I'm dealing with. Like, how do I move myself through this? When we ask those questions with the higher vision in mind, but also aware that there's a shadow that pulls on us, this is where your growth comes from. Growth comes from tension. Growth comes from these I call them the messy middle. It comes from these moments where you're like, oh, like I know something's changing and growing and I'm becoming something and I see what I want to become, but I'm being pulled back. It feels like this push-pull. That is the moment of tension, which is your moment of growth.
Yeah.
It's freaking uncomfortable when you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
So uncomfortable because you haven't yet found the way through, but you know that there's a way through and you're sitting in this space, but you can clearly hear the shadow talking to you and pulling at you and your comfort's pulling at you. You're like, oh, like I just want to break free from this thing. Like I just want to move toward my goal. That's the messy middle, but that is the tension point that allows you to grow. And many times it's through those growth tension moments where your gifts are actually going to get loud and clear and without a doubt, this is what I'm here for. I had this happen over the holidays. I shared this in a couple of the lives over the last couple of weeks that in the fall, I was in this space where I was like, yeah, you know, Gabriel, like we've done a lot over the last 22 years. Maybe we do this. Maybe we shift gears. Maybe we, you know, we were like back and forth. We even changed the name of the group. We like went through all these changes, which to some people could see very unstable, but growth is unstable. Growth is constant. To think that my children are always going to be little babies breastfeeding, well, that's not the case. Or to think that they're always going to be toddlers, that's not the case. To think that you're going to be the same today as you were when you were 18, that's not the case. We are constantly growing and evolving based on what we're asked to do in a moment. And in the fall, we were being asked to up level, but we weren't sure what that up level looked like as yet. So in the messy middle, I just kept letting go. I was like, you know what? I can feel the shadow. I can hear the insecurities. I can see comparison. I can see all these things that were coming up that I was confronting. And I just sat in the stillness of the messy middle. And I was like, I'm just going to release and let go. Without needing to know the answer, without searching, I'm just going to let go. And in the letting go and the surrender, it was like the layers start to fall away naturally, because I'm not holding on, I'm not gripping, I'm not forcing, I'm not controlling. I'm actually allowing myself to shed. I'm allowing myself to purge. I'm allowing myself to go through rebirth. We actually saw a snake this morning. We didn't know if it was actually somebody ran over a snake or if it was the skin of the snake, because it was pretty vibrant, the color. Yeah. But it reminded me of that, of like when the snake is done with its skin, it gets uncomfortable. The skin is actually too tight. And aren't there other bugs like that too, where they're encasing?
Crabs do that as well.
Crabs.
They actually mold. They mold.
Their shell gets so tight around them and it crunches in on them that they get uncomfortable. Yeah. And it gets so uncomfortable that they have to molt. Is that what it's called? Yeah. And their shell literally like comes apart and they slide out of it. So if you see like partial or intact crab shell, it's not that the crab died. It's they went through a metamorphosis and a rebirth because their shell was too tight. It was too small. Yep. And they were becoming bigger. They were becoming their next version of self. You and I, we're doing this all the time. It's just what happens is if we don't have the tools and we don't know this, we resist the constriction, we resist the shadow, we resist that pressure, and then we revert back. We stay exactly where we are because we're like, it's too scary. That's very uncomfortable. I don't want to do this.
And then we are not allowed to grow. We stay small too, right?
And you stop your growth.
Yeah.
And so in the fall, when I was going through my own molting or shedding of my skin, it wasn't until I was in a pressure moment, like with what I went through with my parents, I was in a pressure moment. And because I was just open and I was being of service, and I said, I surrender to the divine will, show me what I need to do. And this has been a prayer that I've had for like 25 years. And I constantly do this. I constantly saying, show me what to do. Let me be of service. And I was called up. Just like Gabriel was talking about your gifts, all of my gifts were called into action. I was a nurse's aide in between my university years, summer job. I was called into action to be a nurse's aide for my mom and my dad. I was called into my physiotherapy background. I thought I was going to become a physiotherapist. So I used all my training and what I learned as a physio to help my mom with her exercises, getting in and out of bed, her functionality, like core function. And then I was called up to be a healer for my mom and dad. Every day doing energy work. I was drawing upon my natural nutrition background. I was drawing upon energy healing. I was drawing upon homeopathics and all the other alternative medicines, reflexology, aromatherapy, my frequency medicine. I was bringing everything to the table. And then the biggest, most powerful was I was called up as a spiritual teacher to my parents to have a very big, deep, powerful conversation about life and death and what they're doing and what's next. This was not easy to have these conversations with your parents. It's not easy to have with anybody, but your parents, when you're looking at them, you're like, okay, well, I have to put aside the child hat right now and be like, what are you choosing? You choosing life or are you choosing to depart? That's not an easy conversation to have with someone that you really care a lot about, that you might have some entanglement or some attachments to, right? I share this because in the shadow moments of our life, in the pressure cooker moments of our life, in the constriction moments of our life, this is where if you allow yourself to relax for a moment and not fight it, relax and know that you're growing, you will bust through, you will rebirth, and your gifts will be so clear, so relevant, so loud that you cannot deny who you are and what you're here for. So I want to share with you, do not be afraid of the shadow. Do not be afraid of your shadow moments. Those of you in Thrive, you have heard me say this so many times. The shadow will push you to grow if you let it. That's your rebirth moment. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And when you think of what shadow is, just in physicality, a shadow is a space that the light is not allowed to hit because something's blocking it.
Yeah.
Right? So you either move yourself out of the way so the light could shine there, or you bring the light to that space where the shadow is and make that space bright.
Yeah.
Right? We choose to do the act of bringing the light to that space to make it clearer. And that's what we're working on together. We're looking at that space of whatever is in the shadow, whatever is in the darkness, whatever is hidden in particular, whatever is hidden, it's time to bring it to light so that we can be lighter, freer, easy in our movement, creating easily, finding the treasure and actually appreciating that treasure because we appreciate ourselves in relationship with the treasure. And that makes a huge difference. That's the catapult that we're looking for right now. The catalyst is that the speeding up of it is in us being aware that there is light there. We are able to shift through it. There's nothing to hide. And who would we hide it from anyway? There's nobody to hide anything from, really, right? Bring that forward. Let's do it. Yeah.
And this is why those reminders are so important. This is why you being here is so important. This is why, anybody that comes into our containers and our programs and our world, it's so important because we have those daily reminders.
Yeah.
We're there to hold the light for each other. We're there to hold a spotlight of light and truth for each other, because we know that when we go through the shadow, we face the shadow in ourselves, it can feel really challenging. It can feel scary at times. It can feel very wobbly. But when we have each other and we have these reminders, we have these workshops and we have these conversations, they help us be able to move past the shadow with much more ease and grace. So I also want to bring to point, before we give you your first reflection question, we're at the halfway point in this 5-day journey, right? So we've had day 1, day 2, we're at day 3, which is like, if you even look at your fingers, each finger holds a significant meaning. So this is your power finger. This is your Jupiter finger. Jupiter finger is like power. You're finding your power, right? And then we have day 4, day 5. I always find, and we found this like over the last 5 years, that at the halfway point, it's a really interesting turn of events that happens. Many times it's where we're like, okay, I just got a lot of goodness. I feel ready to go. A lot of people are like, whoa, I just feel like I got cracked open. And this halfway point, it kind of reminds me, here's the analogy, the best way for me to describe it is this. Have any of you ever gone like on a big power walk or a run or a jog or an intense workout? And you're like, okay, I'm going to do this for an hour, right? Or you're going to go full tilt. And then there's this like halfway point where you're like, oh, like I'm really tired. You hit this wall almost where you're like, I don't think I can power walk anymore. I don't think I can run anymore. I don't think I can do this marathon anymore. Like I'm, as you would say, bun.
Yeah,
I'm bun, right? And you're just like, that's it. You feel like your
you
energy's
hit that.
gone.
This is hard.
This
point.
is hard.
This is hard, right? You hit that point.
And this is life. Like use this analogy for life, right? You're like,
Yes.
I'm feeling strong. I feel good. I've got this energy. Thanks so much, Tara and Gabriel. Thank you, community. Like I feel good. I'm ready to face the world.
Woo-hoo.
And then you go and all of a sudden you're like, what just happened? Like I thought I was
You hit
running
the
a
wall.
marathon. I
You
hit
the
this wall.
Yeah.
And you feel tired. And what's happening is you actually hit the shadow. You hit the restriction and the limitation of yourself.
Mm.
And what most people do when
Mhm.
that happens, most people quit. Most people fall off. Most people stop the journey. Most people throw in the towel and they're like, nope, that's it. This is too hard. I'm done. But have you ever noticed when you're on a run or a power walk or you're working out pretty hard, or if any of you have done a marathon, if you actually give yourself the space to acknowledge, yeah, I feel a little tired. Like this is intense. And you know what? I'm going to finish anyways. I'm going to go strong anyways. I'm going to lean in even more. And all of a sudden, what happens? You get a second wind.
Second win.
Phew! All of a sudden, you're like,
Beautiful.
oh my God, I could do this forever. And you
Yep.
actually feel like you could run forever.
It's all of a sudden like something takes over.
Mhm.
Where you left off, something takes over.
Mhm.
And that's your second win, right? You're good to go again. Like
Yep.
if it's brand new, all of a sudden from nowhere. Yeah.
And so that pivotal moment of hitting that wall, that's where your choice comes in. Your power, here's your power finger. This is your choice moment. And I want you to look at this. This is your first reflection question, okay? Your first reflection question is this. I want you to look at the times in your life where you started something, you reached that halfway point, and then it felt hard and you gave up, or you pulled back, or you threw in the towel, or you were like, you know what? This race, like this is, I don't think I have what it takes to finish this. Some people call it sabotage. Some people call it just giving up. Some people call it too hard. And you throw in the towel. That's the first question. I want you to actually look back and look at your journey and with awareness, with love, no judgment. We toss judgment out the door, but from compassion. Where have I done that in my journey? Just to see it for yourself. Because once you see your pattern and you actually see it, you'll probably make a different choice the next time around. So that's the first question. So it's all about choice. You all have choice in every moment. You have choice. Even after this workshop, you have choice to continue doing the Thrive in 5 practices that you're learning here or not. You're like, that was a great workshop. And then you forget about the Thrive in 5 practices and you never do them again. To me, that's giving up on yourself. Many of you could have an option to come in to one of the things. You can come to our Thrive Live. You could come into a month of Thrive. You could come to a whole year of Thrive. We've got Light Leadership. We have our membership program, which is only $55 a month. If you love this energy and you want to be in this more frequently, that's a choice point. And I'm not saying everybody's going to say yes, but if you love this and it's something that draws you in and it feels good for you to be in these spaces, then your choice is, do I keep going or do I stop? Right? These are just examples. So you always have choice to go again. And in that moment that you have choice to go again, you get to do something new. You will surprise you. In those moments when I used to jog and run, I used to surprise myself all the time. I'm like, oh my God, how do I have this much energy? I didn't know I was this strong. I didn't know I could run this fast. I surprised myself because, and I discovered something new about myself because I was willing to make a different choice. I was willing to move past the constriction, restriction, and uncomfortability and keep going. I feel like you have something you want to add to that.
No, you're totally right about it. But from my perspective, at least, and that's something that does happen, bit by bit, as you do a little bit and a little bit more and a little bit more, which is how consistency works, right? You do something and then you build on that. You can surprise yourself in a short time with how much you can actually do, right? Because when you first start, yes, there's that big wall that you face, and most marathon runners and people that run distance in any way or swim for long distances as well will notice there does come a point where it's really hard. But what used to be really hard at one point with consistency, eventually you surpass it. And then that wall is not a wall any longer. You pass that easily. So when you do that, you will really shock yourself in how much you're capable of, right? For instance, in my life, I did this thing where, because we had a long period of time where I couldn't get to the gym and all that with the kids and everything. I'd do 300 push-ups every day. That was my commitment to myself, right? And I just do that. But then the max that I could hit was far surpassed one day. All of a sudden, I dropped down there and I was doing like 450, almost 500 without a problem because of the consistency. The building on that same thing allowed me to then transcend the different resistances I would face, the lactic acid production, all these things where I was able to pass through that phase, right? So this is in any area of life, by the way. If you're really looking at doing well in something or honing your gifts, that consistency of effort towards it, even if it's a little bit daily, a little bit, and staying in the environment that's conducive to it as well, right? Helps. You don't necessarily see it instantly, but as it builds up, all of a sudden, one day you'll go out and you'll try to do the same thing, but you realize, wait a minute, this is now easy. I can do way more than this. And you'll shock yourself. And
it's about building new muscle. And I'm not just talking about like physical muscle. Yes, if you're working out, you're going to build physical muscle. But you're building stamina. You're building strength. You're building your character. You're building your willingness to keep showing up. You're building your confidence. I was talking to somebody about this and I said, you don't create confidence in a bubble. You don't build confidence by sitting in your little world and be like, okay, well, I want to do this. And I think I want to do that. And yes, I'm going to build my confidence. Yes, you can build it internally, but your fastest way to build confidence is actually to step out into the world and do the thing and move past your limitation. Right? And if I'm honest, like this is just what I'm feeling on my heart that I feel called to say.
Ooh, You say it. Say it.
Is I wish all of you could continue to be in these spaces with us all the time.
Yeah.
One, because I love having you all here. Two, because I love when you show up in your fullness, I get to show up in my fullness. And then my gifts get to be utilized in the highest and best way. And then I get to ignite your gifts. And then you get to go out into the world and ignite the world in your highest and best way. I wish all of you, this is why we made like different options for people to come in. Easy yeses to say, yes, I want to continue to do this work with you. And here's my capacity for investment right now. Some have big, big investment capacities for like $14,000 programs or working one-on-one. Working one-on-one with us. Some, it's a different capacity, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong. It's just different. So on my heart, I feel like if a yes was to happen to help you move through whatever the constriction and limitation is, to continue to be in these spaces, lean in. And if you want more information, just type more and we'll show you the options. We'll be like, where are you at? What's your investment comfortability at right now? And then I guarantee we have something that'll fit within that.
More. Yeah.
Just type more. Okay.
Yeah. And I just want to drop a bar on that confidence conversation. Most people think they have to build confidence from nowhere. Like you just have to kind of fake it and all of that stuff. But listen to the word itself, the etymology of confidence. Con, with, right? And fidere, or fidere if you're Italian or whatever. Trust. Mm-hmm. With trust. How do you develop trust? You develop trust by doing a thing and seeing it work out. Doing another thing and seeing it work out. Then eventually for instance, gravity is an experience, at least an experience is real. You know that when you fall, if you fall from your bed, you're not going to fall up to the ceiling. You know that you're going to fall down to the ground, right? You know that. That's trust. It's built up over time. So just like that, if you really want to get confident, what you want to do is do that thing over and over until you have a solid expectation as to what the outcome is. You just know that when you step in that pool, when you step in that race, when you do whatever you're doing, you're going to do it in that exact way because you've done it so many times that it just happens that way. And you know that as a fact. So that's what it is. The development, the daily activities, the daily connection point, the daily surroundings that allow you to fall into that energetic space around it is what allows you to finally be confident in it. Mm-hmm. Right. And it's confidence even in your healing, your ability to self-heal, your ability to self-regulate, and your ability to create harmony over conflict. That's a practice. And we keep saying it's a practice until it becomes a lifestyle. Okay. Yes. So your second reflection question is this: what parts of myself are pulling me back or that always pull me back? What parts of myself, what parts am I aware of that pull me back? So how you'll know that is every time I go to move forward, what comes up when I go to move forward? What comes up when I go to rebirth myself? What comes up when I go to stretch or even heal something? What's coming up? Is it, yay, I can do this? Or is there any part of you that pulls back? Could be fear, could be a belief system like I can't do this. It could be I don't have the energy, I don't have the support. It could be financial, I don't have the money to be able to do this. What keeps nagging at you like the shadow does that pulls you back? You're wanting to move into the light and something's pulling you back into the shadow. That's what we want you to journal, write on, and reflect on. What keeps pulling you back? The last question, the third question is this: what are my comforts? When you can start looking at your comforts where you're like, there's the nice comforts of like, I like to have nice, healthy, organic food. I love to have sunshine. Those are nice comforts that you want to have. Oh, they can't hear us. Is that true? You cannot hear us right now? Well, let us know. Let's see. Let's see. Is everyone not able to hear us right now? Glitching. It's glitching. Okay, let's see. Let's just pause for a moment. Let us know when you can hear us again. Yeah, because we'll just pause. It's glitching. We'll just wait a second and see if it evens out. I know my phone feels hot right now. Let me just see. I don't want to lose the stream here if I let us know something. If you can hear us. I want to. Let me just see. True. Someone says true. Okay, I can hear you. Okay, good. So we're on. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So I only have probably 15% battery left. So that's probably so we gotta go fast. They can hear us. Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, perfect. Okay. What are my comforts? So comforts can be both a blessing and a challenge. Comforts could be
like I said a minute ago, I love sunshine. I love good food. I love, if you could just keep an eye on the comments.
I'm watching it. Yeah.
But comforts could also be a hang up for us. So comforts like, I really want to go out into the world and do this thing, but I'm okay just being here. Like, I'll just stay home. Comfort could be, I really want to heal and shift this thing. I want to move through conflict, but it's probably just easier to binge watch Netflix right now.
Really easy.
Those are comforts. And many times we don't realize that our comforts are sometimes the very thing that the shadow plays on.
Yes.
That makes you feel so comfortable that it's actually uncomfortable to your soul. Okay. So do some journal writing and reflection on that, and then report back in the thread and let us know what comes. And we'll build on this. We'll have this conversation tomorrow to continue the rest of it. Yeah. The belief busting that we're going to bust through today right now is that healing is hard. We hear this a lot from people. Healing or transformation or doing the thing is hard. And I get that it can feel hard. Sometimes I think in the world we're taught that things are hard, right? Like school can be hard. Exams can be hard. They're stressful, right? Going for something, a goal can feel hard because you're bumping up against yourself. You're bumping up against your limitations and you're bumping up against your comforts. It's not just the limitations. You're actually bumping up against your comforts because sometimes it's more comfortable to stay in the comfort than to get uncomfortable, which then will allow you to grow, right? So I get why sometimes healing can feel hard. I also get, this comes back to the time conversation we had the other day, that if something doesn't happen overnight, you don't get that thing, that goal, that manifestation, if you don't heal that thing overnight, well, it didn't work. See, I tried that thing, but it didn't work. Most physical ailments and breakdown, mental breakdown, emotional breakdown, relationship breakdown, financial breakdown, it didn't just happen overnight. Those breakdowns have been slowly breaking down bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit over time. Doesn't mean it has to take the same amount of time that it took you to get there to heal it. That's where you can speed it up. But that's where I think sometimes we have this conception that it's hard. I did the thing. I've got the tools. It didn't work. Well, that's like saying, I don't know how to ride a bike. I got on a bike once. I fell off the bike. I don't know how to ride a bike. I'm never riding a bike again. Or I've never skateboarded. That'd be like if I got on a skateboard and be like, this is too hard, man. Like, I'm done.
Just think of it also as a baby that tries to walk one time and then decides that's it. I'm not going to walk. And just sits there. It doesn't happen that way, does it? Right? Yeah. We're all walking. At least most of us are, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
So we want you to look at that for yourself and reflect on that. Where have I said to myself, whether it's healing, and it could be healing of anything, healing of a relationship, healing of your mind and your thinking, healing of an emotion, it could be depression, anxiety, worry. It could be a healing of a condition in your physical body. It could be a diagnosis. It could be healing financial wounds, anything. Pick anything that's plaguing you right now, okay? And really look at it with honesty. Where do I believe this is hard? And then be willing to let that go a little bit. I see where it's glitching. Even on us, it's like slowing down a little bit here.
It could just be the heater on the phone. Plug in. You want me to go get it?
It probably won't, though. Even if we plug in here, it'll give me that weird message of like, it's not, pinging. I know that on YouTube, you guys can hear us clearly because we're functioning from the computer. But on Facebook here, it's like my screen up there is frozen. So we'll just wait a second and see what happens here. We could hook up your phone.
We could do that, but it'll be a brand new stream.
It would be 2 streams. Now it's glitching. Yeah. We just paused for a second.
Pause for a cause.
It's frozen. I know. Slow connection, it's saying. Let me just see if I can fix this. Hold on. Let's see.
Well, I see on here. I could watch it right now. It's.
I think it's because my battery's probably it's pretty low.
Okay, so let's do mine, and we'll jump over and continue this conversation on a new thread.
Yeah.
Part 2, guys. Part 2 is coming at you.
Hold on, everybody.
Part 2.
Oh, here, you need this. Sorry, everybody on YouTube. You're going to have to just bear with us a
few
second.
Seconds. We're going to get back up on the You get the behind the scenes with us,
yeah.
eh? Wink, wink. Good stuff. Okay, yeah.
You guys get to do your reflection questions right now. That's what,
And
that's what you get to
see
do.
us problem solving.
Yeah, here we go.
There
You
we go.
guys
Okay.
get to, yeah.
So just go live and then I'll
Here.
update it later, right?
Yeah.
If anything.
Here, just put this in here first.
Okay, live. Oh, this would be me going live.
That's
It won't
okay.
be you going live
That's
this
okay.
time. Is that okay? All right.
Here.
Mine doesn't landscape,
It doesn't landscape?
Nope.
Oh, boy.
which is great.
Oh, boy. What another tech
Android.
issue. Oh,
Android.
boy. We've been saying this for a little while. It's time for some new tech.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's about that.
so let's do this. And sorry, you guys. Okay, we're gonna move this a bit here,
Yeah.
like that.
Adjusting. All right, I can
And
be
we're
right
just
here.
adjusting.
That'll be good here.
Okay, we're gonna go live over here. 3, 2, 1.
Did I go live in the group? Yes, I'm in the group.
Okay,
So guys, there should be a new live in the
Part
group for
2.
YouTube people and for everybody else. This is part 2 of day 3. Right, we had a little glitching problem
Yeah.
with the phone, so hopefully you're able to log on to this one. We'll wait for you a bit
Yeah.
just to see that
And we'll
everybody
squeeze
does
in
get on.
because over here it doesn't go landscape, so we
yeah,
have to.
so we have like a
Yeah,
single screen going on here. It's
we
supposed
got
to be
some
for
stuff
one
going
person.
on. Oh my gosh! So let's just see here.
But
Let's
that's
see if we can
adjusting,
squeeze
right?
us both in.
Life gives you lemons. I heard this somebody
And you
say
make
this the other day.
lemonade.
No, it
No?
was funny. And then it was this kid that said,
You make cough syrup.
no. He said, life gives you lemons. You better pucker up and eat them lemons, baby. That's what he said. Pucker up.
Oh my gosh.
No lemonade.
Oh my gosh. All right.
That's
So we're
hilarious.
back up. We're going to give everybody just a minute to
we're
pop on over here on the Facebook stream. So this is part
Yes.
2 of day 3. Okay. So we're going live on Gabriel's video. Make sure you keep your face in so you're not half
You
faced.
see me, man. You see
Okay,
me,
good.
right?
All right.
We're
Perfect.
closer than ever.
Closer than ever. Gabriel and I squeeze it in over here. And everybody on YouTube, thanks for hanging tight. Thanks for being with us. Thank you, everybody, for popping on over to Gabriel's live stream.
Okay.
I think my phone just overheated. I have so much on this phone in terms of
Yes.
video and pictures and all sorts of things. So okay,
My phone is free.
it's free.
It's free.
All right. So I'm gonna back up a little bit from where we left off, and
Yeah.
hopefully everybody will pop on here onto this live stream.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reflection questions are this: what parts of myself pull me back? So I think many of you heard that. What parts of myself pull me back? So those are the comforts. The second question is, what are my comforts? So to really be able to look at that for yourself, what are my comforts? What keeps coming up? Because again, your comforts, even though you think that they're comfortable and they feel good, your comforts can also be the very thing that causes you to not take a step and not take your growth. Okay. Our comforts are the very things that are like, well, I want to step into this thing, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Right. We look at our limitations. The comforts also can be limitations, right? I'm afraid to travel. I'm afraid to grow. I'm afraid to do this thing. I'm afraid to, what if this actually works? What if I step into this thing and I get courageous and this thing actually works? What if I actually invest in something and it actually works, right? Like these are our comforts. We tend to, when we're uncomfortable and we're facing fear, we tend to revert back.
Yeah.
So I have this saying, lean forward, don't
Yeah.
fall back.
Yeah.
Lean forward, don't fall back. When you lean forward, that's you stepping out of your comforts and out of the shadow and back into the truth and back into the light, which is going to allow you to grow. Okay.
I want to say one more thing here. There's a few ways that the mind plays with this as well. This comfortability tip. It does this thing sometimes where it even spiritualizes your reason for being comfortable. Right? Change is natural. Right? Everything changes. We in this world, at least while we see ourselves in this world, change is inevitable.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen, right? However, the mind does this thing where sometimes it goes into this idea, trying to still protect its idea of constancy, that, well, maybe it's not the right time based on some little thing that happened in the world, or my guides are saying this, I have to go meditate, all of these sorts of things, right? If you are feeling a pull from inside and your desires calling you, which is why we pay attention, right? And I'm not talking about for one specific thing. I'm talking in general here. You're feeling a pull for change, and it's feeling like it could offer you something that feels good and transformative for you. You feel that positive vibe, and then you go and you over-process it, and you find that in the over-processing, you come to that place of, well, I don't know, this fifth dimensional being telling me this, that. Sometimes that's not a fifth dimensional being. Sometimes that's just you protecting yourself from change, right? We do that a lot. We do that a lot, just so you know. So when you find yourself in those spaces and doing those things, take the time to slow down,
Mhm.
to breathe, to listen, and feel if that urge is really arising with you
Mhm.
or in you, right? For that growth. Are you ready to grow? Are you ready to be more than you were before?
Yeah.
Right? To be more than you were before, you have to kind of break out of the shell.
Yeah.
That same shell that we talk about that the crab and the snake had,
Mhm.
right? The snake had skin, right? We have to be willing to break past that. And if we're listening to the old stories that we have, we're still listening to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So then we're stuck there with that.
Mhm.
So if you find yourself longing for change and you know that change is natural and you feel that impulse, follow that impulse for once and don't keep yourself trapped within the old skin.
Yeah.
The old skin is not going to give you a new experience. You're
Yeah.
going to be identified as the same exact
That's so
person,
good.
right?
That's so good.
Yeah,
I love
go
that.
ahead.
The
Yeah.
old skin not
It
going to
will
give us
not
a new
give you a new
experience.
experience.
It
It will
won't. It
not.
can't. It
Yeah.
can't. And so this is where we resist our growth.
Yeah.
This is where we resist our own healing because we're staying in our similar comfortable place,
Yeah.
expecting change, expecting growth, expecting a miracle,
Yeah.
but we're not willing to actually step out of our shell
Yeah.
and do something different, step out of our comforts because the shell
Yeah.
becomes very comfortable.
Yeah.
That's the thing. The
It's
snake
very
skin,
comfortable.
the crab shell. The crab is interesting though because the crab does get uncomfortable. That's what I've
At that
heard. It
point,
gets painful.
yes.
And I think that's something important to look at is that the crab actually gets uncomfortable, gets painful. And I think the same thing happens to us. I think when we sit in our comforts and don't grow and don't take our growth for too long, your comforts start becoming uncomfortable. It actually starts hurting you. Life will start hurting you. That's what happens. And then we're like, why is this happening? Well, you've been getting the tap, 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 the nudge, 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 the bang, 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 and you haven't taken the step. You haven't grown. You haven't leaned in. You keep reverting back. It's going to get uncomfortable because now you're stopping your growth. Healing's the same thing. It's like what I was saying, this belief busting that we were starting to talk about before our video went down was that healing is hard. Start to reflect on that for yourself. Healing is hard. Is it? Right? Growth is hard. Is it? It's all perspective. It's a shift. You could choose just as easily to say healing is easy, and therefore it will be. Building a business is hard. Is it? Building a business is easy, and therefore it will be. Are there going to be challenges? Yes. Are you going to have moments where it's going to be hard? Yes, but it doesn't mean that it's hard. Just because a moment is hard doesn't mean the whole thing is hard. It's the same thing with your healing and your growth. So this is where it's like learning the tools, taking the wisdom, and then you do it again. And some days it works perfectly, and other days it doesn't. And that's okay. That's your growth.
On those days that it doesn't work perfectly too, which some people consider an L, right? They think it's a loss because, geez, that was so hard. It shouldn't be like this. No, it's exactly like that. When you go through that, you learn about yourself and you learn how to face the challenges that may arise on your way to another goal that you're taking on as well. So it's self-discovery, it's growth. And that growth can seem painful, but it's useful. Because later on, when you approach different things, you now have the knowledge to be like, no, this is just a part of it. I'm going to surpass this and I'm going to be even better.
Yeah.
I'm going to be even better. That's how you start to think of things. This is wonderful. Yeah. You take the challenges not as obstacles, but as growth points.
Yeah.
Right? Milestones for you to jump off of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so the Thrive in 5 practice, well, first let me finish this thing.
Yeah.
I want you, because I don't think you guys heard this in the video when it was glitching. We want you to reflect on this concept of healing is hard. Look at that in your life. Where have you thought that? Where have you felt that? And if it's not healing, where has money been hard? Where has building a business been hard? Where has a relationship been hard? Where has been parenting hard? Where has been anything? It could be healing a state, your emotions, any area that's felt hard. Look at that for yourself. And then I challenge you, I encourage you to move past that. Even just have a quick flip where, what if it could be easy? What if whatever it is I'm dealing with could be easy? What if it could be easy? What if it could be easy? What if it could be easy? I mean, if you've told yourself, what if it's hard or it is hard that many times, you want to be flipping it. What if it's easy? 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 And it's going to feel repetitious. But here's the thing. You've been repeating some stuff in your own mind that has not served you, that's brought you to this exact point that actually needs to go. Okay? So our Thrive in 5 practice for today is to accept all parts of yourself and step forward. So the name for it is acceptance. Acceptance is this Thrive in 5. Accepting all parts of yourself, the shadow, the light, the gifts. Because here's the thing, when you accept even the shadow parts, the gifts will emerge even more, like I was saying earlier. When the crab outgrows its shell, its gifts reveal itself even more. It's a new version of itself. It can do more things. It's stronger. Your gifts will emerge from the shadow, but we first have to be able to face our shadow and not from judgment. There's so much judgment in the world, criticism, judgment, comparison, competition, being hard on ourselves, reprimanding ourselves, punishing ourselves. That has to stop now. We have to stop doing that to ourselves. So this practice, this Thrive in 5 practice that Gabriel's going to walk us through today is an acceptance of yourself, accepting all parts of yourself, being able to go within yourself, accept all parts of yourself, see your light, see your shadow, accept it, accept where you're growing, accept where it's hard, but then choose something different. And then start to feel the pull. Like you might start to feel, so when Gabriel's guiding this, maybe, you know, when it's like, when they want to step forward, but the shadow is like, it's like almost pulling, right? So we're going to turn and we're going to look at it for a moment and just accept whatever's there. Whatever things you think are wrong or off or hard, just look at them for a moment and then shine a big light on it. And then we're going to walk forward. So I know that seems like a lot in 5 minutes, so it might end up being 6-7 minutes, but
we'll try to keep it to that 5.
Yeah, it feels okay.
Yeah, I'll give you this concept to start with real quick. Just remember that the shadow itself is not a thing, right? It's the light being blocked, right? When you stand in front of the light, there's a shadow. The shadow itself is not going to be there or a thing of itself. As soon as the light shines, there, it disappears, right? It's nothing. / darkness, right? Shadow, darkness, same thing. So anything that you may feel you have to hide that's in the back there, when the light is shone on it, it's gone. It's not a thing. So don't let it weigh you down now because it's really nothing. Yeah.
And we're probably going to go a little bit over because of our glitch mishap. So just to give you guys a heads up, we're going to do about 5 to 7 minutes in this practice, and then we'll reveal the next thing for you guys. Okay.
All right. 5 minutes. So as we begin to relax, just make sure you're in a place where you can do that. If there is activity going around you, just internalize, send yourself deeper within. Use that as a way to send your attention deeper within and relax the body. Relax the entire body with the breath. As you inhale, feel that breath move straight in as if it's going to the toes, all the way to the toes. And as you exhale, you release. You release any tension. You release any tightness. You release any mental activity, any doubts, any concern. Release it through the breath. See it leave as almost a mist or a haze leaving through the breath. And inhale again. Inhaling. And as you inhale, you start to pull in the light around you, the wonderful liquid light around you. Pull it in and let it fill the space. The body relaxes even more, welcoming that light. As you exhale, anything that's heavy continues to move out. And as you stand in this space where you know that within, you're being filled with this light, look over to your left in your mind's eye. And in your mind's eye, see the shadow. And in this shadow area from you, see all of the things that come to mind regarding what you consider to be darkness within or surrounding you, whether it be people, situations, things that you've judged yourself for, things that you think you can never be forgiven for, because if anybody knew, oh no, what would they think of you? Oh no. See that to the left of you right now. And it might feel fearful, but just look on it as that, just events. These are events that took place in the past, and they're there in the past on your left as you see them. And as you see them and you feel that way, it's not a pleasant feeling, but continue to breathe in that light and feel calm as you see them. Just look on them. They're there. They're not doing anything to you. They're over there, and you see them over there. Continue to take the light in as you witness them, knowing that yourself is filled with this purity of light. And now as you exhale on this one, exhale the light energy towards that space. Start illuminating that space deliberately with the light that comes in and out of you, filling that space, including the events, the people as they come to mind. Fill that space, fill the void of their bodies, the space that their bodies occupy, with that space, with that light energy. Fill that energy, fill it, fill that space with that energy, and continue. The events that took place, see them lit up, see them disappear as the light shines on them, just as the shadow disappears, see the activity of the body, see all the things that took place as blending into this light, gently disappearing, gently moving from your memory, gently moving from your side, gently releasing all the wrong that has been done to you, through you, right? And that you've witnessed. Go ahead and continue to share that towards it. Extend that light towards it deliberately. Your light that is around you, you're deliberately sending it and removing this activity from your past. And you see the shadow becoming lighter and lighter as the light goes towards it, lighter and lighter until it's almost invisible. It's just a wisp of energy. It's wispy, almost gossamer, see-through, wispy. And continue to give more of that light towards it until you feel as if the shadow itself has left your side. Now allow yourself to turn to the vision of the right with this beautiful energy and clarity in you right now, and begin to see where you're headed. Begin to see where you're headed. Begin to feel where you're headed. And don't dream too much into it. Just feel right now how pure you are, and that beside you is clear and there is potential. There is space, there is possibility where there was none before, and there's nothing stopping you from it right now. Begin to feel that. And just take a second to rest right now in this clarity of being, in this space where clarity is. If anything of the shadow arises again, continue the light process and just let it drift off to the left as the light permeates it and moves through it, making it into the nothing that it is in your awareness. It is nothing. Let it be nothing. You are here now. You are here now, right where the breath is, right here now. None of that is here with you now, because the light is here now. You are here now. You are here now. Feel that. Turn back to the support you felt of this beautiful liquid light, or the jelly substance that's holding you in yesterday's meditation. Feel that, right? Feel that support. Realize that you're supported, sustained, maintained right now, right here. Everything is potential. Everything is possible from here. Feel that potential. Feel that realization of yourself right now as clear, as perfect as you are. As you are. Feel that. And when you're good and ready, just take a deep breath and exhale. Releasing all the remnants of the past, anything that feels anyway stuck in the body or feels like it's anchored in any joints or any areas within your body. Exhale it and take that deep breath again, straight into the whole body as a balloon. And exhale with the sigh, releasing everything that would hold you back, anything that feels dense. Release it. And one more deep breath all the way in, filling the entire body again, and release it all. And gently begin to make your way forward into this clarity, into this new space that you choose of your own volition. You have chosen to be here. Make yourself forward. When you're good and ready, open up the eyes and connect. Yeah.
Well done. 7 minutes. That was good.
Oh, 7?
Yeah.
What? That felt like 2.
Okay.
It felt like 2. Okay, then. Whoa, okay, 7.
Let us know in the comments how that felt, what that experience was, and
Yes.
how simple it is, right? To be
Yes.
able to just face the shadow and stream light. I can't wait to tell you what I saw. It's going to be a big, like it's a bigger
it's
story, so I
like-
gotta wait.
Yeah.
I'll hold it till
We're
then.
gonna share.
Mhm.
Feel free to share in your comments beneath as
Mhm.
well, though, on
Yeah.
the post, right? And that way we'll get to partake and interact with you, and that sort of thing. Do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you can get out your treasure map.
Uh-huh.
Your treasure map. I'll put it over there for everybody in here. Okay. And today we're digging a little adventure. I don't know if you guys can see this on there. It's pretty
Kinda
bright.
glary, eh?
But
Yeah.
we're going to continue our path over to this mound of rocks over here. And some of you might think it might be something. There, you can see it.
Yeah.
What you're going to put in day 3. Herbs.
The herbs, man.
Not that kind of
Herbs.
herb.
The
I'm not talking
herbs.
about that kind of herb.
The herb.
But you're gonna
Herbs.
go find
Herbs.
a herb, an herb,
We're looking
an
for
herb,
herbs.
herbs,
Yes.
H-E-R-B,
Yes.
herbs.
The herb.
Now, the reason why we want you to go pick some herbs, now you might be able to get these in your kitchen, right? Many common herbs like herbal tea, chamomile, peppermint, thyme, rosemary, oregano, sage. These are all prominent herbs that we cook with, right? And each of those herbs have very powerful healing properties. He's laughing now because I'm saying herb.
No,
Herb.
that's
Herb.
it. Yeah.
And they all have very prominent healing properties. And from my herbal studies, actually back in, what year was that? 2021, 22,
Yeah.
I studied herbology and herbal medicine, and I loved it. It was one of my favorite courses. And we would often go on these nature walks. And I love that because I got to discover what herbs were edible, which ones were healing, which ones were good for us, which ones to stay away from. And I started to do that here in Mexico because it's a very different foliage here, right? And so I had to discover, like the other day, remember, it was the first year we were here, and the kids saw these big, long pods, and one of them cracked open, and there were these circular discs in them. And so it was like a seed right here in the middle, but then there was this like gooey,
Gelatinous
you
type.
know, almost like a
disc in it.
molasses.
Yeah.
And I smelt it, and I said, it smells like chocolate. And then I was like, oh my God, I wonder if this is the carob. It's an alternative for cocoa. And sure enough, I use my little app finder. So I'll post it in the group for you guys, but I have this little app finder on my phone, and you just take a picture of the herb, and then it tells you what that herb is. And sure enough, it was the carob tree. So we're surrounded.
And guess who sampled it?
Mhm.
I did. And it
But
was
then we all
delicious.
ate it. It was delicious. It was like
Delicious.
a mixture of molasses meets like cocoa.
Worth the try.
It was really nice. It was very delicious. So there are herbs everywhere. And the reason why, so again, we're going to give you the external and internal wisdom around why this item is so significant for your healing. So externally, we know that herbs are very powerful healers. There's a friend of mine. She has a medical book from the 1400s that's leather bound. And it's about this big. It's like this thick. And the number one things that were in there to help people heal were herbs over anything else. There were no pharmaceuticals, none of that stuff. It was herbs. And yes, there was things on like how to set a bone and things like that, but it was herbal medicine. And I feel like we're making a return to that now. You see a lot of things, at least I get the Facebook ads all the time about herbal medicines and the herbal books. We're making a return on this. Even one of our clients, Crystal, she just finished her herbology as well. And she wants to create a farm to have people go on these walks and study herbology, which I think is really important because we're returning to our roots. This is the natural medicine. And what I have found with herbology is that herbology can make healing easy. But the interesting thing about herbs, remember I said like it's going to relate to like this path that we're walking of like the resistance and the shadow, hard or easy, peeling off the layers. Herbs you have to be mindful of. Turmeric's another one. You have to be mindful because with herbs, you can actually overdo it. It's like when you're cooking. Any of you cook? So you know when you cook, if you add too much, even if you're baking, add too much cinnamon to a recipe, like it's not going to taste so good, right? If you add too much turmeric to something, Gabriel cooks curry all the time. It's like, it's bitter, but I love curry and I love turmeric.
My curry is not bitter. I'm
Yours
kidding. I'm kidding.
is. Yours is delicious. But if you don't know
I
what
know
you're
you didn't say that.
doing,
If you use
and
too
you add
much
too
curry,
much,
yeah.
now you've tipped the scales.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with essential oils, right? If you use too much peppermint, or if you put peppermint on your skin without diluting it, you could actually burn your skin. I watched many friends of mine burn their skin putting essential oils without dilution right on their skin.
Oh yeah, neat.
You can burn.
Yeah.
So herbs are the reminder internally for us of this dance that we're constantly doing with our light and our shadow, that there's a healing, there's a positive, there's an expansion, and there's a contraction, a pullback, and a shadow. And we're constantly doing this dance. And where we want to be is find that balance. So herbs have this magical quality to help us remind us of our balance. It's like a pinch of something, a pinch of oregano. Any of you ever put too much oregano in something that you're cooking?
Oh yeah, that's like
Holy moly. Punch you right in the
make
face.
you make a face.
Whee! Right? It's like herbs are beautiful, but we want to use them with consciousness, right? And too much tips the scales. Not enough if you have weak tea, right? If ever you made a tea, like a peppermint tea, and you're like, this tastes like water. It's not enough, right? So it's about finding the balance. And so what we want you to do is, as you go and search for your favorite herbs, it could be one, it could be many, pull together your favorite herbs and make your own little concoction. Okay. So if I was to go look in our, like at home, we have a very big herbal pantry. Here it's a little smaller. So I might put, just knowing what's in there, I might put a little bit of, so I know we have chamomile tea. I might open up a tea bag and put some chamomile. We have peppermint. I might even go take a little bit of one of those Italian herbs that has, you know, the rosemary, sage, oregano, put a little dash of that. You're going to play and you're going to find your own balance of creating your own little herbal mixture. Some of you might love sage. Some of you might not like sage. You're going to pick and choose. You're going to choose which ones feel really good to you. And you're going to make your own little herbal concoction. Don't do anything with it as yet. We'll tell you that when we bring all the items together. Okay. But the herb is there to teach you about the old age wisdom. The earth carries wisdom. You carry wisdom. You know balance. You know when it's too much or too little. You know when the ego and the shadow is pulling on you too much and you need to balance, right? Wisdom that works. We know that herbs work. Again, too much or too little, we need to know the balance. And yes, and so knowing the extremes. The other thing that we want you to do is when you're going to look for these herbs, set the intention. Higher self, show me what it is that I need. Right? And with that intention of healing being easy, healing being doable, right? And simple. And sometimes it's the simplicity of just making a cup of tea and sitting with your tea and being like, oh, like the whole world feels better, right? It's that sort of intention internally that we want you to bring to this specific item in your treasure hunt. Okay? So we look forward to seeing your posts. We look forward to seeing your pictures and your videos of whatever you're finding. Post them in the group. If you're on YouTube, you could always send us an email. If this is okay, we would love to take a few moments just to talk a little bit more about the things that we brought to the table yesterday, to give a little bit more context, a little bit more detail, take about 10 minutes. And if you guys want more information about any of the things that we're going to talk about here, we'll give you some keywords to type in, and then we'll send you more information. So the very first thing that we want to share with you is our Thrive Live that we announced yesterday. I was so excited. I said, I wish Gabriel was here because I was so excited to talk about this Thrive Live event. So if you want the early registration rates, you have 6 days until that rate goes up. It'll be next Friday that the rates are going to go up by $100 or $111. So if you are curious and you want to come and be with us in Collingwood, Ontario, it's the first weekend in October 2025 this year in Collingwood. We're going to be doing a Thrive Live, and it's going to be a 2-day live event. We're going to have so much fun. We're going to take our 4 seasons, but our 5 pillars that we talk about in terms of manifestation. So we're going to pick a topic. I'm going to help you with your manifestations. You're going to get to create something miraculous and amazing. We're going to be doing some healing work. So we're going to do a healing circle, some Reiki with some live music where you're actually going to get to receive and heal and create a shift and transformation. It's not just going to be us talking. It's going to be very experiential. Then we're going to be moving into relationships. So we're going to look at some of the core relationships and really start to create that shift. If you want to bring a significant other, this would be really great as a live experience for them to also be in the room with you, because when you heal the one, you heal all, like we talked about yesterday. And when that other is in the room, that is a significant other, you get to speed your transformation and create more harmony in your relationship faster. We're also going to do something around intuition and higher self. So it's going to be more experiential, less talking, more experience. And then the last bit is going to be some sort of spiritual expansion experience that we're going to have together. And it's going to be live. It's going to be beautiful. In the evening, we're going to do a cacao ceremony with some dancing, some grooving, do live music, live DJ, and crystal bowl ceremony, where then we're going to be doing the healing work so you get to rest and receive. So if you want more information, Thrive Live, just type Thrive Live. The tickets right now are $333 Canadian plus HST, because we have to do that because we're in Canada when we're going to be doing this. Just type Thrive Live, okay? If you want a free ticket, then we have the opportunity for you to come into Thrive Evolution, which is our signature program. And all of those components that I just mentioned are in Thrive Evolution for 12 months. So if you come in for 12 months, you're going to get 2 tickets for free. If you want to come and do 1 month of Thrive, which is the month of February, that is $998. And if you need Canadian rates, just let us know. We can help you with that. If you need a payment plan and an easy 2-pay split, we can do that. And we're going to gift you one of these tickets. So that's a pretty sweet deal, right? If you come in to Thrive for a month, and we're calling it the month of the heart. So this month coming into February, yes, it's Valentine's Day. It's a month of the heart, the month of love, but we're
It's Tara's
birthday. But we're also looking at the 4 chambers of the heart in those 4 weeks. There's a give and a receive. There's an external and internal. So each session in those 4 weeks in February, we're going to be focused on going in and healing something profound. So healing the inner child, healing and going into forgiveness, healing the past traumas and the wounds that many of us carry in our heart, healing the relationship wounds that many of us have currently that are connected to our past. And then as we heal, we then have the energy and the space to then expand. And there's so much wisdom and knowledge and even scientific knowledge out there now about when we strengthen our heart field, our whole life gets better. Our immune system goes up, our energy goes up, our life force goes up, our manifestations go up, we create with greater ease, we feel better, shinier, happier, healthier. And if you choose to come in to Thrive for 1 month, by the end of today, we're going to gift you an extra one-on-one session. So within Thrive for the month, you get to come to the live classes. So there's going to be 4 of those. You get to come to the Q&A live. There's 4 of those. And then we do a monthly creation and healing circle, which is so beautiful, where you get to just come in your jammies or your yoga clothes and you get to just rest and receive and relax. And we guide it through and you get to receive healing. And within 1 month, you're going to have, if you come in by tonight, you will be able to have 2 one-on-one sessions instead of 1. So if you decide to come in tomorrow, you'll have all those things, but it'll be 1 session instead of 2. So we wanted to just congratulate and celebrate those that are like early action takers that are like, yes, I know this. I'm going to lean into the light, not into my shadow, lean into expansion, not into my comforts. We want to honor you by gifting you an extra one-on-one session that'll happen with either Gabriel, myself, or Alexandra. So if you want the link and you want information to get going today on that 1 month of Thrive, just type month and Alexandra will send you the link. She'll know what that means. Okay. The third thing that I want to talk about is the full experience of Thrive. If you love working with us, you love this experience, even if you're graduating Thrive and you're like, I really want to do another year with you guys. We've had people do 5 years with us and they love it. And you guys can attest to this. It gets better and better every year. It gets stronger and stronger every year. There's new tools, there's new teachings, but there's also the reminders of the core teachings that work, that are foundational for us in our work that we've been using for 22 plus years. And so the full Thrive experience is 12 months, 12 one-on-one sessions, all the classes, the Q&A, and we go through those seasons together. So the season of manifestation, if you really want to sharpen your manifestation, you're like, I could really use a tune-up and my manifestations haven't been working the way that they used to. Feels like the energy's a little slow. It feels like a little sluggish. Maybe I'm not refined enough. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know what's going on, but my manifestations aren't working. This is the conversation that we're going to be having in the spring that's really going to amplify your manifestations. If you're in the healing space with us in this conversation right now, this is what we're in now, is the healing and relationship, harmony and healing. And so this is what we get to do for the next 2 months. And then in the summer, we move into intuition, where we really expand your intuitive gifts. And then in the late fall and starting the winter, we go into spiritual mastery, which is all about creating your Thrive state. So we move through these different realities and worlds that often are an illusion. We bust the illusion and we help you step into the truth with a capital T. So if you want the full experience of Thrive, just type the word full and Alexandra will send you the information. If you want to reach out to us privately, you can do that as well. You can reach out to Gabriel, myself, Alexandra. We're here. We have some incredible bonuses if you choose to come in. If you want to come in to Thrive, the full experience, we're going to gift you 2 tickets to this live event. We have some other amazing bonuses like Reiki level 1, Qigong level 1, these beautiful Ascension Malas, our Thrive Malas, which is a gift from us to you. We have some other things in store for you as well. And every quarter we do an energy aura scan. So we look at your energy field, we see what's going on in your energy, and then we go, okay, here's what needs to tweak. Here's what you need to focus on. Here's a mantra that you need to work on, so that it's very specific. And one of the things that we want to do as we go into this next section, this next month, is we want you each, if you come in, to choose an area of your life that you really want to create a transformation in. And then myself, Gabriel, and Alexandra are really going to work with you to make sure that that happens within that time period. Okay. So we have payment plans. For Thrive, the full, we have a pay in full, which saves you, I think, close to $1,000 for pay in full. We do a 3 easy pay. So that's all there for you guys. If you have to go, no worries. I totally get it. We'll see you on Saturday. And you just have to type the word full for that one. Full. Yes. Anything that I missed around any of that?
Not that I could recall right now. It sounds like you really explained it well.
Maybe you could
one thing
speak in, yeah. So
Yes,
no, I
go
was just
ahead.
gonna say, maybe you could speak into like what is the result and why would it be a great idea for someone to step into Thrive?
Yeah, as I said in the beginning, creating beautiful outcomes. That's what we do in Thrive. And if you're looking to transform any area of life to be something that's more reflective of the ideal that you have for yourself and for your life and for those around you, if you're a person that's interested in helping those around you, it is a wonderful way to do it. We have practices that we step into that really solidify the ideas, not just keep them as concepts. We actually make it into things that you embody and you live, and you see the results immediately in your life. Like most of the people we talk to on a regular basis in our conversations and in our sessions as well, which they have in Thrive, they always speak about the fact that they're kind of floored at how quick it works. Because it's just a little shift. Usually it's just a little shift, right? But that little shift has big effects because you're shifting the device with which you're making all of the effects. And so it happens really quickly, and people are floored by that. They're really moved in the way that internally they feel different about life. They have that zeal for life, that zest for life again. And that's where we create those beautiful outcomes. It's you that change, right? And it's your ability to change and your ability to commit to that change that makes that difference, right? It's nice to just think of something for a while and then step back from it, and people do that a lot, right? We fluctuate or we vacillate back and forward. But eventually, if you really want that change, just like that crab, right? You gotta be willing to bust through that shell, right? You can stick a little claw out a little bit, and then eventually, go all the way. And that's sort of how Thrive is structured, to help you gradually, so it's not uncomfortable for you, to gradually make that transition. And by the time you're out of that shell, you won't even know, wow, well, did I even have a shell? It'll be like that, right? And that's what we see in Thrive. So the 4 sections we go through, as Tara said, are the manifestation section, which is what most people start off with, right? Because it's usually the thing that stops people from taking major action in their life. They're afraid that they won't have enough of this or enough of that and that sort of stuff. We move through that and get you to that place of knowing you're directly connected to an infinite supply, and you're aware of that. So you can continue to produce effects in that line. Moving into relationship and healing, or healing by itself, firstly. Healing is, as we said, it's easy. We just dealt with it here a bit, and we dive deeper into that healing so that it's not about the modalities anymore. It's about who you are, seeing yourself correctly. So eventually you realize that healing is basically getting to your right state, getting to your thriving state. Like Tara said, when you're in that state, right, you're not going to need to constantly be running here and there for things. You're going to thrive because this is your natural way of being, right? And that's where healing takes you. Relationships, that relationship with yourself is reflected in all relationships. We dive deep into that to the point where you get to remove that shadow aspect, remove the things that no longer serve you, and move into a state of appreciating what you really are, which then you can share with others and see the results of that. So your relationships are now equal relationships. It's not inferior or superior. You're not better or less than anybody. You're equal. And in that way, you get to see that mirror that we're speaking about the other day reflecting you clearly. So you feel good in that, right? We then move into intuition mastery, which is really about you mastering communication with your capital S self. So that there's no conflict, there's no doubt, no question, no back and forth, no should I make this decision or this decision? No, the decision that you make is supported by you. So it's a good decision instantly. And you know that. And you transform any doubt or questions about that to the point where you can stand solidly in what you are and help others in having guidance as well. They receive that through you, right? So that's where we go with the intuition. And then the spiritual mastery. Well, that's moving into that thriving heaven state, right? It's moving into that state where you know yourself to be that divine being that you really are, to be that light that you really are, to see that in all your activity and everything around you. And so what I'm really saying is, if Thrive piques your interest or stirs your coffee in just the right way, which it probably is, right? Then go ahead and make that step towards what calls you, right? It is what calls you. As I said, if that is your desire to become any of the things we've spoken about here that appeal to you, if those are in your sights, then this is this is the ultimate way to do it. This is the way to do it, right? We'll be there to support you in it. The one-on-one sessions are key. We really connect on those sessions and find out what's really important to you. We listen to hear where you're going and support you in getting there. Yeah. That's what I'd like to say. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to wrap there. You guys have all the goods. You have all the information you need.
Yeah.
You have the links. You have everything. And please be in touch. Remember, there's certain things that are going to evaporate as of tonight, like those bonus tickets to the Thrive Live event, which is going to be in October in Collingwood, Ontario. And there's some other amazing bonuses on the table that I haven't even had a chance to speak into as yet, but I want to honor time for you all as well. And this is your opportunity now to really ask yourself, like, what is it that moves me? What inspires me? What grows me? And are you willing to lean into that? Or do we fall back into fear? Do we fall back into scarcity? Do we fall back into the limitation? Do we fall back into our comforts? Or are we willing to stretch ourselves a little bit, even a little bit, and step into something, do something? And if any of those things we just mentioned, they aren't a fit for you, we do have our membership program, which is only $55 a month. So if you're like, all that is great, I would love to, financially, it's just not possible, we do have an option to come in and you get to have a live meditation experience with us once a month and a live healing circle once a month. And then we have a library. It's more self-led. The other programs, the reason why they're a higher price point is because you have more close proximity to us. You get to be in the room with us live, just like this experience. Plus you have the one-on-ones, and one-on-ones, like alone, if you were to book a one-on-one session with one of us, one-on-ones are starting at $333 for a session and go as high as $1,111, depending on if we're talking about business and that sort of thing. So this is a really great opportunity for you guys, but you got to tune in to know where's your growth, where's your comfort, where's your discomfort, and then make a move, take a step, do something that allows you to continue this growth. We still have 2 more full days together. Plus we'll have a couple bonus days where we're going to get to bring all our things that we're collecting in our treasure hunt. We'll bring them all together and do something with them. You'll see, it'll be really fun. However, this is your opportunity to listen and lean in if you feel called. Okay. So lean in, listen, make moves, continue the journey. We'll see you tomorrow for day 4. So excited. Can't wait to see your pictures and your videos from what you're collecting. And thank you so much for being here today. Sending so much love to you.